lavorare ancora di più per ottenere risultati maggiori attraverso il coinvolgimento dei cittadini.
Oggi AMSA serve un bacino di 2.100.000 abitanti, in quanto serviamo il comune di Milano e 10 comuni nell'area metropolitana.
Questo 79, che è la media, è di più da quelli che hanno ricevuto da più tempo il bidoncino, cioè una volta che quelli che hanno ricevuto nel 2012 sono abituati e trovano l'AMSA ancora più efficiente.
In Germany we have two systems. The big cities, they have own companies with own staff. Actually we are a company. We are not part of the government or not part of the bureaucracy.
Adesso se consideriamo il dato di Milano, cioè 90 kg abitante anno, significa che Milano riesce a spostare dall'indifferenziato alla raccolta differenziata più dell'85% del materiale.
Tra le mie passioni, oltre alle inchieste, c'era quello di trovare le best practice in giro per il mondo da raccontare ai miei lettori, perché potessero ridurre il loro impatto ambientale.
Noi siamo bravissimi quando attacchiamo i fili di cose in parte diverse con la nostra creatività, con la nostra qualità, col design, eccetera. Oggi possiamo riprendere attraverso la partita della chimica verde la grande tradizione della chimica italiana.
Well, I'll tell you something about food waste collection in the Netherlands. I will mainly focus on collection systems.
I could explain something about separate collection in capital city of Slovenia.
So just a little background about New York City. We obviously have very, very high density population in Manhattan. It can be up to more than 100,000 people per square mile.
And this is how we manage it in our city. So we are having picking up in the households the combustible waste and also the biodegradable waste, and very little part of the bulky waste is picked up at the houses where people are living.
Milano is one city that I have been wanting to come since I was a kid, and so it is an honor for me to share this podium with our distinguished speakers and participants.
Si ricicla fino a quando è possibile, fino a quanto è possibile. E questo possibile cos'è? Il possibile viene dato da tre categorie: il bilancio ambientale, il bilancio energetico e il bilancio economico.
Ragionare in chiave di industrial ecology, in cui alla fine di tutto i rifiuti di un settore diventano materia prima per un altro settore economico, è oggi molto più fattibile, più diffuso e più presente di quanto molti immaginino.
It's extraordinarily difficult to get really serious reductions in the greenhouse gas emissions from waste management without actually shifting away from fossil plastics and into bioplastics.
Noi crediamo che la raccolta differenziata sia un elemento importante, ma sia un elemento importante se non l'analizziamo come uno strumento tecnico di gestione corretta dei rifiuti, che è indispensabile, ma se la consideriamo parte del cambiamento di una metropoli.
2 years ago we introduced some variation on the methodology, and now we are able even to know information on food wastage. We have about 11% of food wastage in bio-waste.
The key role of bio-waste, of course, in order to get to 60-70% of source separation, you have to introduce bio-waste collection. We already know this. We are the world leader in source separation of organics, and I'm proud to tell you that in Italy we are collecting 4 million tons of organics, of which 2.5 million is food waste, source separated.
The organic fraction is transformed in biogas and then energy, and that is the present behavior. Now we are improving and moving in another way, so as to treat all these residues that allow the production of bioplastic, biomethane, and renewable fertilizer.
We take the various collection methods where the material fraction can be collected, and that is sent to recycling. So this is what we achieve as DREC, and that is illustrated by this graph.
We are here in Milan to host the first waste initiative workshop, and we have a great representation from many great cities around the world. We will have the contributions from the cities of San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Buenos Aires, Rome, of course the city of Milan, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Moscow, and Johannesburg, meeting together for the first time to discuss their priorities on waste management.
Residual waste and organic waste is twice a week. The bins are given to the citizens free of charge.
Food waste is collected alone without any trimming, any garden waste. So the volume is much lower. AMSA and most municipalities in Italy give you at least a starter kit when you start. So you have 3 months of bags already provided. But the point is, on everyday shopping, you get the compostable bags in the supermarkets. We know from CHIC, from our investigation, that the bag makes a difference. It's a very important advertising tool. People using compostable bag take much more care of the content of how they separate food waste. People using PA bags are much more lazy and are much more likely to mix non-compostable inside the food waste.
What are your first impressions about the Milan system of waste collection?
My first time here in Milan, looking for information and visiting the system, it was very impressive for me. Most impressive is the quality of bio-waste that is separated at source.
And here you can see these are supermarkets.
Well, it's very comprehensive. It's good to see in such a large city. The food waste collection obviously is something we've learnt a lot from in the United Kingdom, and we've tried to adapt the type of system and use the principles that are used here.
Well, actually I was very surprised. I came to a city that is like extremely clean, and that's something very difficult to achieve in a city of these characteristics with this amount of people. It's almost impossible if you don't have a lot of political support and a good team that can do all this work, and also the commitment of citizenship.
They are also able to analyze both the composition of food waste, so the non-compostable quota, those materials which are not compostable, and the type of bags which are used for sorting waste.
Do you think there are elements of the Milan system which could be exported and adopted in Rio de Janeiro?
Of course, there are very parts of it that we could adopt, and then what we are doing here is exactly that. We hear from everywhere, and we thought, well, this could be good for us. Oh, let's take this chance and let's use this.
Aluminum and plastic bags, some paper.
Well, it's very interesting for us to come and have a look. We've studied the situation in some Asian cities, like in Japan, in Seoul, in Taipei, but we haven't seen anything in Europe, so it's fascinating for us to see how it is.
I was very impressed by the food waste collection and recycling because it is completely organized. In Tokyo, we don't have the system of food waste recycling, so I'd like to have more information and keep in touch with you.
Compostable bags can play a role in the source separation of food waste.
I think it is, because then they become easy disposed and they become part of the waste stream, and they are treated just like the food waste when it comes to composting. So I think they're a very good idea.
I'm very impressed. I think it's a great system. I think that the source separation of materials and the source separation of food scraps, of organics particularly, is very important to keep out of landfills and incineration because of its high value in being able to produce biogas and high quality compost.
If in fact we do go to a food waste composting system, I think compostable bags are a must. I think it's very important to containerize the material, to limit exposure to rodents and insects and vectors, and having a bag system will help that.
Basic premise is that cities can learn from each other, but that they can also avoid mistakes. And I think one of the big fears that cities have is that change is not possible, that change takes a long time, that it's too difficult, that people will not comply with new rules. And I think Milan is a great example that with the proper communication strategy, with a consistent approach to service delivery, change is possible.